This month of April, we are in a series called Stapled as a Discipled. This series is about discipleship, how we walk after our Lord Jesus Christ as His disciple. And we are learning different things about becoming a disciple from, obviously, there are a lot of various parts of Bible talk about discipleship, but we picked chapter 9 of Gospel of Luke, and we are following the stories there. And this is the third part of the series, and I'd like to lead you to today's passage, which is Luke chapter 9, verse 18 to 24. It's in your bulletin, and it's on the screen. It's in your Bible. Chapter 9, verse 18 to 24. All right, I'll just read it to you, and so you can read along with me in your heart. Maybe you can whisper too if you want to. Okay, once when Jesus was praying in private and his disciples were with him, he asked them, "Who do the crowds say I am?" They replied, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others that one of the prophets of long ago has come back to life." "But what about you?" he asked. "Who do you say I am?" Peter answered, "God's Messiah." Jesus strictly warned them not to tell this to anyone. And he said, "The Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected by the elders, the chief priests, and the teachers of the law, and he must be killed, and on the third day he be raised to life." Then he said to them all, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will save it." Have you ever heard the term butterfly effect? Yes. I mean, it's you can look it up in the internet, but it actually means like on the other side of the earth, the world, there's a one butterfly, flying, and it can leave amazingly big influence on the other side of the world. So you never know what this small thing gonna cause in the end eventually. That's what butterfly effect actually means. And I know the term, and I actually was exploring in my Facebook, and I saw this amazing post about butterfly effect, and you will be amazed too once you hear it. Sometimes we lose our pens, right? Right? That's why we all share some way. There are two things that we share all together globally. Number one, it's pen. Number two, bike. Okay, kidding. Because people steal bikes all the time. Anyway, okay, but we do lose our pens sometimes, right? So let's say it happens to you. It all starts with that small thing happen in your life. Show me the picture. Okay, it goes like this. Lost your pen, which means no pen. No pen means no notes. No notes means no study. No study means fail. Fail means no diploma. No diploma means no work. No work means no money. No money means no food. No food means you get skinny. Maybe the reason I'm skinny, I lost too many pens. Skinny means that you get what? No way. For the writer's sake here, I'll just continue. Skinny means that you get ugly. Ugly means no lover. What? No lover means no marriage. No marriage means no children. No children means alone. Alone means depression. Depression means sickness. Sickness means death. Lesson: don't lose your pen. You know why your life is so miserable now? Because you lost enough pens already. Anyway, I was looking at that, and it makes me just laugh. And I was thinking the reason I'm so skinny, I lost too many pens. But I'm not there yet in that ugly part. I can see that some of you are there already, but not my case. But the thing is, if you think about this, it actually made us laugh, right? Because we know it doesn't really come to our heart that seriously, right? It's not that we see that, oh, we don't see this as like one of the life serious warnings. Oh, so no pain means like I'm getting nearer to death. And we all know this is some sort of a joke. Why? Because we know that the values this little post visualizes kind of like a little different than what we have. Like we know that losing our pen doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna die, right? Because the value of losing pen, that event, that small event in our life, doesn't necessarily mean that even dying itself, that's super serious level event in our lives. Which actually means we consistently and we never actually stop making judgments on it is obvious we all know, on our value systems. And if you look back in your life, you made so many decisions on your own value system. It's like even little thing, like which movie you want to see, and you come to your mind, you have your own values. Maybe you don't really see that like consciously. You could kind of like subconsciously make a decision on that. Like, should I watch like Iron Man or like Superman, but DC and then Marvel, and you have your own standard in you and value system. Not just that, like, what do you want for lunch? What do you want, for whatever? We consistently come to our own value system and make decisions on that. We all know, if you actually have been to a church world enough, you probably heard this today's passage before. It actually starts with a small conversation. Jesus is asking a simple question, saying, hey, who do people say I am? Maybe he wanted to know what his reputation is like. And his disciples respond. Some say you are John the Baptist. Some say you're Elijah. And some say you are one of the prophets that just came back to life from long ago. All these actually names are very like big names. John the Baptist. It's amazing. Like he's a big figure at that time. And Elijah's like a legendary figure, right? He's like a Darth Vader figure in Christian world. Right? And then other prophets. Prophets are awesome too. So all these names that people give about Jesus, that's awesome enough. But Jesus doesn't stop there. He asks this very important question. Probably one of the most well-known questions all of the human history. He's asking this question. Who do you say I am? Right? Who do you say? I know that's what other people say, but what do you say I am? And Peter responds. Peter responds saying, you are God's Messiah. And when we know this story, we've heard this conversation before, but what does this really mean? It sounds very fancy. Oh, John the Baptist, Elijah, one of the prophets coming back to life. Who do you say I am? You are God's Messiah. It sounds so fancy. It sounds like one of the legendary conversations from like all those super awesome movies. What does this really necessarily mean? If you actually think about it, it is also about, like I said, value system. Jesus is asking, what do other people say about me? What are they saying about me on their own value system? And they are saying John the Baptist, Elijah, one of the prophets. They're all big names. But if you actually think about it, all those names, John the Baptist, Elijah, prophets, they're big enough. But if you actually look at those names, labels more carefully, these are actually about lenses. Because Elijah, prophet, John the Baptist, the purpose of their lives, their presence, their missions here is actually about help people to see something through them. But when Peter says, you are God's Messiah, it actually means, other people say you're one of the lenses we can actually see the ultimate object through. But I'll say, you're God's Messiah. You're it. You're the ultimate object we need to see. We need to recognize. That's what actually this conversation, is really all about. Again, it's a value system. It asks actually the same question to all of us. Who do you say? Who do people say about me? We may say, some say you're a good teacher. Some say you are one of the good, religious leaders among all those figures in the history. Some say you are, the word that I can find in the worship songs. But he's asking the same question to us. But who do you say I am? But if you think about it, do we really say Jesus Christ is our it, the ultimate object? If you think about it, this is very important. Why? Because, like I said, you made all those important decisions in your life according to your value system. But if you actually think about it more carefully, your value system actually works in a very interesting way. You actually pick an ultimate object, and you actually make a sacrifice of all other things to get there. In other words, you actually pick a final destination in your life according to your value system, and you make all other things as a process to just get that place. Last week I told you about the fact that I watched the movie Silence. How many of you saw the movie Silence? Maybe I asked you this question last week. Nobody? I'm the only one? Oh, there's one. You and me. Batman. Cool Sunny. You and I, the only ones, watched the movie Silence. And you are silent about that. Anyway, it's a good movie. Good movie. And I did talk about the movie last week a little bit. It is about Japanese missionaries, last priests, long ago there, and they saw that many Japanese Christians were persecuted, and they were in a situation where they think about, God, if you're real, why do they have to suffer like this way? And asking those kind of questions in their lives. That's what movies are about. But actually, before I went to the movie, I knew another interesting story about the movie, and I'm going to share this story with you. There's a guy named Jung-woo Nam. He's a Korean actor, and he's not like famous actor. He's one of the actors who usually plays, the small, super small roles in the movies. And he actually came to a thought that he wants to become an actor after he played the role in a play, the play that's based on this novel Silence, because it was actually originally novel. And he loved the story, he loved the novel, and he really enjoyed the fact that he played the role in that novel so much. He actually made a commitment. He made some sort of decision that to become an actor, okay? And a few years later, he actually heard the news that Martin Scorsese is making a movie out of this novel, Silence. So he was so excited. Show us the video. Not that, video. No. He's Martin Luther King, but Martin Scorsese is I'm looking for. Anyway, he was so excited. So he heard the news. So he was thinking, this is my lifetime story, novel, and it is amazing. One of the master level movie director, Martin Scorsese, is making this movie out of the story. I gotta be in that movie. So he kept thinking, what should I do about this? What should I do about this? Because he lives in Korea, and obviously the movie is made in Hollywood or New York or somewhere there, right? So he kept searching if there's any way he can be in the movie. And he actually made a decision. He found out that they are making this movie in Taiwan. So he just flew to Taiwan, and in front of the gate of that filming area, he just stand there and make the sign, which actually it says, I am an actor from Korea, and I so want to be in this movie. Can you show us that movie? The short video? Yeah. Anyway, it's gonna come out. So he was holding the sign, and everybody who's passing by saw the sign. And one of the Taiwanese staff actually stopped by and asked a question. What are you doing here? He said, oh, I'm a Korean actor, and I so want to be in this movie. Is there any way I can be in the movie? And he said, you know what? We have this small movie production company, and they may hire you as the smallest role, in this movie. So he actually decided to go over there and he did an audition and he actually got in the movie. And he was in the movie for 5 seconds. For 5 seconds. And he was there, no volume. You don't have to give me the volume. Yeah, no volume. Just, okay, it's not coming out. The movie's out. So I tried to just spot him during the movie, but I couldn't do it because it went away so fast. But he was in there for 5 seconds. That's it. And there's I saw this interview. That was the video I actually wanted to show you that he had with one of the Korean media companies here. And he was saying, basically, I love this story. And I didn't mind flying to Taiwan on my own cost and standing there every day, holding this sign, just showing how passionate he is about, wanting to be in the movie. I mean, if you think about it, just 5 seconds in that movie, nobody really can notice that. In the scene, it's not just him in the scene. There are a lot of different, he played one of the Japanese peasants on the boat. And you can't know if he is that person. But from the interview, I heard him say, I didn't mind flying over there, paying all that money, spending all that time, spending all my energy, because I so wanted to be in that movie. Because that movie, that story was so worth to me. But if you think about it, from this story, we can see the same thing. He made one thing as his ultimate destination. This is it. This is the ultimate thing I so want. And I don't mind sacrificing everything else to get there. But if you think about your life, my life as well, same thing happens over and over again. Sometimes this ultimate object can be marriage. Sometimes it can be getting a job. Sometimes it can be getting to a good college. But we made everything else sacrifice to get there as a just process to get to that destination. Now, Jesus' conversation with Peter is the same thing. Who do people say I am? Hey, you're John the Baptist. You're Elijah, prophet. You're one of the process we can take to a certain place we want. But Peter says, no. You are Christ. You're God's Messiah. You are my destination. And we've been talking about discipleship in this month. If you hear the word discipleship, maybe many things can come to your mind. Maybe you feel like, oh, maybe I gotta read Bible every day. I gotta come to church every day. Maybe I gotta follow a certain program. Maybe I gotta go to seminary school. Yeah, maybe. But the main thing about becoming a disciple, it's not really about those little skills. It is actually about discipleship is about knowing your ultimate destination. Because Jesus is asking the simple question to you and me as well. Who do you say I am? You're one of the process I can take to get to a certain place that I want. No. You are God's Messiah. You are it. You are ultimate destination for my life. But it actually costs us a lot, that process to have Jesus as our ultimate destination. It requires us a lot of high level of sacrifice. That's why Jesus is saying the things after this conversation. He says, verse 21 to 24, Jesus strictly warned them not to tell this to anyone. And he said, the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected by the elders, the chief priests, and the teachers of the law. And he must be killed, and on the third day he be raised to life. Then he said to them all, this is the only thing we have to do to have him as our ultimate destination. Listen carefully. He says, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will save it. Having Jesus as our ultimate destination, our ultimate object actually means we have to drop all other things as our ultimate object. Like about a month ago, I shared this with you before, but I have my own radio show, my Christian radio network called FEBC, 국동방송. and it airs Saturday afternoon, 5 o'clock, 93.3. Again, Saturday afternoon, 5 o'clock, 93.3. Because nobody is really listening. So, anyway, so I do have this show. I mean, I act like it's a live show, but it's not actually a live show. I record the show. And I do, to record, in order to record the show, I have to go up to Seoul headquarters, the Christian Network headquarter office, and do the recording. So like about a month ago, I was in Seoul to do that, and I did like 3 hours of recording, and that made me really tired. I was so tired, like I didn't have any energy left. And I had right after that, I had a meeting with our Waffle staff. Waffle is one of the organizations that I work for. Anyway, so I had a small meeting after the 3 hours of recording. So I was so tired again. I was like, I didn't have any energy left. And my wife called me and she texted me when I was coming home. So I said, oh, maybe 5-ish, 6-ish. And she said, oh, I made you a good food for tonight's dinner. You know, that happens very rarely. Like, that's my day. Like, it happens like once, like every 5-6 years. Oh, I was so excited. I didn't have energy left, but I was very encouraged by that because, you know, after all this, I can go back home and have a good time and a good dinner, you know. So I was so encouraged by, you know, that text. But about that time, I got a call. Somebody just called me. So I picked that up and answered that. But the number, I didn't know the number. It was an unknown number. And the person who called me said, hello, are you Pastor Sonny? So I'm Pastor Sonny. And this person actually one of the people who I don't know if you know this, but we put our sermons on the air. Which means on the internet. So you can actually watch us like anywhere, you know, from the world. So this person was one of the people who regularly watching our sermons in Korean version, obviously. And he was saying, you know what? Oh, you're Pastor Sonny, but I desperately looking for your phone number, and I just got the number, and I called you. So I said, what is it? What can I help you? And he said, you know, my life goes so messed up, and I was about to commit a suicide. But right before I committed suicide, since I've been following your sermons on the internet, I just thought of you. So I called you right before I made that, you know, decision. And it was a very urgent call, obviously. So I was like, well, it's a good thing you called. And I gave him all the words of comforting, encouragement, and I prayed with him as well. So I asked, what do you do for a living? And he says, I'm a medical doctor. And I run a little, this medical office. And it's called Deokso, which is in Namyangju. And you probably don't know where that is, right? Because I didn't know really where that is, you know, before that happened. So like, oh yeah, is that right? But I'll pray for you and all that. And after I hung up, you know, as you know, I'm a very good man. My conscience just kept telling my heart, you got to go visit him. But like I said, I didn't have any energy left after 3 hours of recording, meeting, and my wife told me that we're having a good dinner. It was like, last time that happened was like 2 decades ago. I'm like, so on the other side of my heart, I felt like, hey, Sonny, you gotta go visit him. It was more like Holy Spirit was whispering to my heart, hey, Sonny, you gotta go visit him. But on the other side, you know, my ego kept telling me, no, Sonny, you worked enough today. Maybe you can go visit him next time. So obviously, you know, who do you think I picked? My ego. I was like, oh yeah, I'm too tired today. Yeah, even if I go there, I don't have any energy left to encourage him, so maybe I'll go visit him next time. But I wanted to kind of justify my decision. So what I did, I came back to the office and I shared this information with other Waffle staff. You know what, one guy just called me and he's about to commit suicide and blah, 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 all that. And I said, I checked out where he is, but it's like about an hour away from here. Driving from here. I don't have a car. There's no way I can visit him. So I feel so bad, but I better drop that idea about visiting him. And one of the staff actually raised her hand and said, wow, that's amazing, Pastor Sonny. But you know what? My husband and I were going to visit that area in about an hour. I'm like, what? And she goes like, yeah, we're going to this school 3 times a week. And today is the day. We go to this nice school. And the school is very near the place where you mentioned. And we're going there in about an hour. We can give you a ride. And I'm like, what? But she just kept insisting. Pastor Sonny, I just heard your story. I mean, this guy is in a danger. And Holy Spirit is whispering to your heart, you want to go, right? I'm like, what? I said like, oh, no, you don't have to do this. I know, this must be extra work for you. So, I love to go. But the thing is, it's going to cost you extra, travel time, extra energy. You and your husband, must be tired. And if you actually do this for me, and you will get into fight because you're tired, and your marriage can be in big danger, and you don't want to risk your marriage for this. And she said, no, Pastor Sonny, I think you got to go. So in about an hour, I was in that car on the way to Deokso in Namyangju. And once I get there, doctor's office, no patient. And he came out. He's like in his early 50s. He held my 2 hands, just tears in his eyes. Pastor Sonny, thank you for coming. I seriously, literally thought about ending my life today. But thank you for coming. And he's still alive. But at that moment, you heard my story, right? At that moment, God was whispering to my heart, Sonny, I want you to go. But at that moment, though I'm a pastor, one even really fearful thing about this story, at that moment, you know what I actually thought? I thought, this person doesn't even come to our church. And even if I don't go, it will not hurt my reputation. That was a thought that came to my mind at that brief moment. That shows how sinful I am, how selfish I am. But you know what really happened there? At that moment, Jesus was not my final destination. He was not my ultimate object in my life. It was my wife's good dinner. It was the rest I was looking for. It was comfortable time I was longing for throughout the day. And I couldn't drop them. What does life of disciple look like? It's like consistently you dropping that other options. Every day, you see Jesus as your ultimate object. Yes, Jesus, though I want all other things as my final destination, I want you to be my ultimate object. Everything else, I can make them just as a sacrifice. I can drop them. 2 weeks ago, it was, as you know, a week before Easter Sunday. It's a Passion Week, right? That's those 6 days. We celebrate those days as we remember those days. We remember Jesus Christ, his pain and suffering on the cross. And as we started that day in Riverside Church, we gathered every day, evening time. And before the first gathering happened, since we don't have our cross out in the worship area, we actually kept it in our storage. And whenever Passion Week comes up, then we take it out and put it out, and then so that we can see that and remember his pain. So I went into the storage and tried to carry out the wooden cross we have. And as I was trying, it was so big, and though I've been working out, it was just too heavy for me. So I just tried to take it out just by myself, and somehow it got stuck in between the door of the storage and the wall of the storage. And it actually looked like this. It was so stuck, and if I actually kept trying to just bring it out, it would have actually broken. So I kept just trying, like try this way, try that way. I tried to just puzzle it out, and I couldn't do it. So I called for help. But while I was trying that, just brief moment, deep inside of my heart, I said like, oh, this cross just not moving, just drives me crazy. And I said some swearing words too. And in the end, like I said, we took it out. Because I called for help. Go back. Yeah. But if you actually see that photo, what is the real problem here? The cross is stuck, not moving, right? That's the problem. But in our lives, you know what really the real problem is? Cross is not following us is not a problem. The real problem is we are not following the cross. That's why Jesus is saying, hey, if you want to be my disciple, if you want to follow me, you got to deny yourself. Take up your own cross and follow me every day. Follow the cross. That's what discipleship is all about. Why? Because Jesus actually came to us first. We all remember those Passion Week, the suffering, the hardship Jesus had to go through. When we think of discipleship, maybe we come to think thoughts like, oh, maybe we got to achieve more. We got to show that, we got to show Jesus what we do for Him. No. Discipleship is actually all about response to His grace every day. Remember His grace. Remember His grace. Remember His grace every day and respond. Yes, Jesus, I'll follow the cross. I'll remember your grace and I will respond. I'll share just last story with you before I close. Last week, Bryce and I don't know if you remember this, talked about those Coptic churches. ISIS terrorists, they bombed 2 churches about 2 weeks ago, and many people died in that tragedy. And last week, as I was looking up some news articles and stuff, I found one article from Christianity Today about this tragedy. The title was Forgiveness, Muslims Moved as Coptic Christians Do the Unimaginable. I'll read just a small excerpt from the article. 12 seconds of silence is an awkward eternity on television. Amr Adib, perhaps the most prominent talk show host in Egypt, leaned forward as he searched for a response. The Copts of Egypt are made of steel, he finally uttered. Moments earlier, Adib was watching a colleague in a simple home in Alexandria speak with the widow of Nazim Fahim, the guard at St. Mark's Cathedral in the seaside Mediterranean city. On Palm Sunday, the guard had redirected a suicide bomber through the perimeter metal detector where the terrorist detonated. Likely the first to die in the blast, Fahim saved the lives of dozens inside the church. I'm not angry at the one who did this, said his wife, children by her side. I'm telling him, may God forgive you. And we also forgive you. Believe me, we forgive you. You put my husband in a place I couldn't have dreamed of. Stunned, Adib stammered about cops bearing atrocities over hundreds of years, but couldn't escape the central scandal. How great is this forgiveness you have? His voice cracked. If it were my father, I could never say this, but this is their faith and religious conviction. Millions marveled with them across the airwaves of Egypt. Not even a week passed by. The Egyptian Christians, they made a decision to forgive these terrorists. How is it even possible? Because they saw Jesus as their final destination. Everything else is process. Life of discipleship, simple. Every day, you get up. Remember His grace. Yes, I remember that cross. And I know that cross is not following me. I gotta follow that cross. I'll take that road because you came to me first. That's what life of discipleship is all about. Like I said, throughout this month's series, I asked Yongwon to sing a song to us. And he's going to sing another song to us at this moment. And as you listen to the song, I want you to maybe say a prayer. Yes, I want Jesus to be my ultimate object in my life. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be so worth it. So help me, Jesus. You take over my life. I want you to have that time of prayer and reflection this moment.